How would it be if you could get access to funding at 0%, anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000 at 0%? And even better yet, how would it be if that money could even pay you interest too? That's what we're going to talk about on the show. Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. This show is for you if you want your money to work harder for you, so you don't have to work so dang hard for that money. And if you want to become work optional, where you work because you want to, not because you have to. All right, guys, so I'm bringing on a special guest today, Ari Page. Now, he's not only the owner of Fund&Grow, which actually helps entrepreneurs, business owners, even investors be able to get access to credit for 0%. Not only does he help you do that, but guys, he's been able to help people expand and grow their businesses and make massive impacts with just the ability to get funding. Because let's be honest, right now, it's a little tricky with banks, isn't it? Banks aren't as easy as they used to be, but there are tricks of the trade that you can actually use. And that's exactly what I bring Ari on today to talk about with you. So Ari, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man. So you're going to have to give us some background on you, man. Like what got you down this path of funding?
Oh, that's a great question. Back in 2007, I was working with a mentor. His name was Dave Candle, and we were working at his mortgage company, Loan Pro Financial. And so back when the markets were crashing, it seemed very obvious at that point. Do you remember right before 2008? A lot of people that were involved in money movements, that were involved in mortgage loans, they could already see the writing on the wall long before the major crash happened in 08. And so what we were seeing happen was the loan to value amounts. They call that LTV. It was dropping, boom, boom, boom. So we were in the middle of closing some loans, and suddenly instead of needing a 10% down payment, instead of needing a certain percentage down payment, the down payment jumped up by a huge amount. And so we had to help them come up with funding, with cash for that. And so we were working, these were commercial mortgages. And so what we were working with at the time was businesses. And so we realized that using business credit cards was the fastest, quickest way. We were literally able to go and apply for the cards, get the cards, and use them to make up the difference of what was needed to make these deals go through. And they went through. And we were able to continue funding deals until everything crashed out in 2008. And we realized the really amazing thing that we had was the business credit cards, because they continued to loan them. Even while mortgage loans were going down, highly regulated loans, all the highly regulated loans at that time were not doing well. Even though at that time they said there wasn't much regulation on it, there's still a lot more regulation on those loans than there was on business credit cards, even to this day. So these business credit cards are looked at more as like a micro loan. So instead of one bank loaning out $1.5 million, you have micro loans. You have 50,000 from here, 75,000 from there, 25,000 from here. And so these smaller loans add up. And what we found is in today's market, we're able to get people up to $250,000 of these business credit cards that do not appear on your personal credit report. And they come with an introductory rate, an introductory teaser rate of 0%. 0% for, in some cases, as long as 22 months and as short as 6 months. So the 0%, the minimum is 6 months. But there are some that give you that 0% period of time up to 22 months. So, and then of course, the card stacking process shows how to continue this over and over. So even if it is at 6 months, we're going for another batch of credit cards before then. And we're going to continue the card stacking process, continue keeping the liquidity at 0%, which is the key thing for the small business.
Yeah. I found that so fascinating because I remember, of course, I shared it on your podcast too, where I was stuck because I put all this equity in my house. And then summer of 2007, I'm trying to get a cash out refinance. They're like, oh, bump your score a little bit. Oh, next month, sorry, we just changed the rules, do this and this. Oh, we're sorry, September 2007, we don't lend money to business owners anymore, right? And I remember I was panicking, and my credit was great, but I didn't have liquidity. I wish I knew you back then. I wish I had that ability, because the best time to get credit, especially credit cards, is when you don't need the credit, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yep.
Now, what makes it different? Like, because obviously there's a lot of banks that do own credit card companies too, right? So
Mhm.
what makes it different than a mortgage, for example? Like, why are the rules so much different? Why is it so much easier to still get credit, even if they lock things up on the mortgage side?
So part of it is that mortgages are like a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're based off of the asset. And so it's
Mhm.
an asset-based lending. Asset-based lending falls under completely different rules and completely different guidelines. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of due diligence that the banks have to do that is not included when it comes to unsecured funding that's not secured off of any type of an asset. Believe it or
Mhm.
not, the type of due diligence that goes into all of that greatly increases the cost of those products in order to verify that all of those things are the way they are before
Mhm.
giving out a mortgage. And so when you're looking at giving out smaller loans, which credit cards are, that's
Mhm.
not like the average California home of $1.5 million.
Yeah.
They're giving out more like 20,000, 50,000. And then we're stacking them. We're using multiple of those to reach our target goals to use for investing. So when you're using funding that's less regulated and that is being lent to a specific segment of the population, this purple segment of the population of people that are really well qualified. The banks want to bring in these business owners that
Mhm.
the 0% offers are a teaser to bring them in so they can sell them insurance, merchant services, everything else for their small business.
Yeah.
So these people are really, really highly sought after. They don't realize it because they're used to being kind of shunned by the banking industry, but the business the banks have the 0% credit card offers to target the small business owners to bring them in as the beginning part of their funnel. And then they're hitting them up with all of these other small business services. And so it ends up actually being something that's not only paid for by the business credit card itself, but even
Mhm.
by the other services that are marketed to them. And so it ends up with people being able to get small business owners being able to get access to credit that's at 0%, that they can invest into their business, that they can use in their business, get all the rewards points and everything that comes along with using business credit cards. And it ends up being much less costly than traditional business lines of credit, home
Yeah.
equity lines of credit, or mortgages.
Now, someone might hear this and say, this sounds too good to be true, right? What would you say to them?
Well, we can all go on Google and type in 0% credit card. And we can see that every single major bank offers it, right? So we'll start
Yeah.
with that. And now the question is, how do I get approved for a high limit spread of these
Right.
cards? Not just one or two, but I need to gain access. Fund&Grow has a whole massive list of all these cards, even depending on the local footprint. In other words, what state you live in, there are
Mhm.
certain banks that will lend in those geographic footprints that have the 0% introductory offer. So we've
Yeah.
collated all of that, and we know exactly what's the best strategy to apply in terms of which bank is going to give the most amount first. Some banks won't give you anything if you don't have other major banks on them. Like, for example, if you don't have something from American Express or Bank of America or Chase, some of these more premium brands, then
Yeah.
there's other smaller brands that people never heard of, like Elan, that won't even approve you. They won't
Huh.
even. So you follow this sequence. You get the easier to get lenders first. You get larger amounts of them. You do the card stacking process, which is about merging things together. And the card stacking process is probably the most fun part of all of this, and it's the
Uh-huh.
easiest part. So imagine that you have a credit card with Chase Bank, and I'm imagining you have a credit card, right?
Mhm.
So let's say that for the viewer that maybe they have a credit card with a major brand like Chase, and let's say it's a $10,000 card, but you've had this card for forever, so it's like it's not it's at like 16 crazy percent or whatever interest rate.
Yeah.
So this is how the card stacking process works. If I go back to the exact same bank that I already have a product with, to the Chase Bank, and I apply for the exact same product, many times the banks will allow you to apply for the exact same product. Sometimes you have to apply for a similar product if they say, no, you already have one. But Chase will give you multiple cards. So you
Hmm.
apply for that new 0% card. Let's say that they approve you for just 5,000 because
Mhm.
you already have a $10,000 card and you haven't been using it because it's at 16%. So they
Yeah.
give you a $5,000 card with 0%. We take that. We then show our clients how you can call back, merge the 5,000 into the 10,000. Now you have a $15,000 account at 0%. And
Mm.
this will work in many cases, even if there's a balance on the $10,000 card.
Yeah.
So you can take it. This is the only way to take an existing card and remove the interest rate and bring it
Yeah.
back to 0%. But it's card stacking. So imagine that now we're talking about an investor who actually has credit and they got a $50,000 Chase card. And then
Yeah.
we apply for another Chase card and we get them a $30,000. And then we merge the two together. We're talking about, this is the card stacking process that we're doing every single day for clients, and we're doing it on the business side. So when done in conjunction with the EIN or tax ID, whatever you want to call that, when done in conjunction properly, the business credit's not going to appear on the client's credit report. So it's key
Gotcha.
that we keep it off their credit report, which allows them to maximize the usage of the card itself,
Yeah.
while also getting them the largest amounts of credit, which is definitely going to be a sequence where we start with certain banks and then work them to other banks that are more likely to approve under the certain conditions.
Right. And what would happen, say for example, I mean, who would this not be for?
So this is for someone who is not. This is not for people that have horrible credit.
Mhm.
This is not for people that are looking for funding to make their next mortgage payment. This is not for people that want to take us and directly invest into traditional investments, such as bonds or crypto or any of those types
Stocks.
of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for investing in real estate, investing in your business, whatever your business may be, investing in marketing for
Mhm.
whatever your business may be. There's a whole variety of different types of industries that really work well with business credit cards, and business credit cards are offered pretty much across the board. There's only a few that are not, and that is any type of traditional investment, which is, as an investor, an accredited investor,
Mhm.
you already know you're not using credit cards to invest in those types of investments.
Right.
But when it comes to real estate, or when it comes to, if I have a brick and mortar business and I want to buy equipment for it, like
Mhm.
a doctor's or a dental office, then it's a great way of being able to use unsecured credit that's in the business's name to be able to purchase that for the business.
Now, before we went on the air, you talked about a way to have a little bit of asset protection using this too, right? Where, like, say, for example, a dentist is trying to expand their space and they're hiring contractors and they pay those contractors with a credit card. How is it possible that a credit card could actually protect them more in this scenario? If you've been following this podcast, you're probably looking for great ways to create passive income right now, right? Well, we got you covered here with Central Lending. Central Lending specializes in alternative investments that actually are designed to create steady returns and long-term financial security for you and your family. Now, they prioritize transparency. They love, building those strong relationships, giving you that confidence and peace of mind, knowing that you have your money working harder for you, so you don't have to work so hard for that money. You want to learn more how to do that? Go to centrallending.com and check out what they've got today to create your passive income and wealth creation right now.
Yeah, so we've actually had this with a number of clients where they were working with contractors that they believed to be reputable.
Mhm.
And then they paid them. Many times they got a lot of the job completed, but they didn't get it to pass inspection, or it wasn't done, or it wasn't up to par. And the business, instead of being honorable and working together with our client, they would just kind of just leave, just like not worry about it. And
Right.
especially if it's red tagged, and you're flipping a house, or you are trying to get your office open and you can't have open permits, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
practice your business. If you're a doctor, then no, that suddenly it's a big deal. So we instruct our clients to use a business credit card to pay for the contractors that you're unsure of. You've never done
Mhm.
business with them. Yes, the Google reviews or whatever says one thing, but you're not sure. So you pay for it on your business credit card, which means that you can always call that business credit card, call the credit card company, and reverse the transaction. Now, that doesn't mean that we just get to take the business's money.
Right.
It means that that other business now has to respond in arbitration, kind of like a
Yeah.
corporate court. And so they will have to respond, and their response is obviously gonna be like, hey, we'll be out there tomorrow to get the job finished. That way they can prove to the credit card bank. Now they're not just dealing with a customer, now they're dealing with a bank. They're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this is serious. So then now they have to actually respond to the credit card bank and show, yes, I in fact got the job done, and the client has to show that they're happy. So you
Right.
can use the credit card bank to hold the contractor to their word. And that word, the term for that is chargeback or dispute. You
Yeah.
simply call on the back of your credit card, it's got a phone number. You simply call there and say, hey, this person, that I paid for with this credit card, they didn't live up to it. Can you reverse the transaction? And
Yeah.
it's a bit of a process, but if you just spent 15 grand on a roof or 25,000 for new equipment for your dentist office, then you'll do it. You'll do it.
Yeah.
But it gives you that peace of mind while you are earning points.
Yeah.
So
Tell us more
many of
about
these,
that. What do you mean by that?
so many of these credit cards will give you up to 2% cash back, meaning
Mhm.
that whatever it is that you purchase, they'll literally give you a percentage back of that in points, which directly translate into dollars.
Yeah.
So 2% cash back, I mean, that's huge. And a lot of times our clients are using this to get the airline miles. And
Hmm.
so if you're using like the American Airlines card
Hmm.
and you're earning airline miles, what you don't realize is that these points, when they're racked up within the points programs, become worth much more when you transfer it to your account at whatever vendor that is. So if you're talking about an American Airlines, go to americanairlines.com, not the credit
Hmm.
card side. Go to the airline side. Go create a login if you don't already have one, and then transfer the points from your American credit card to the airport website, to your login. And when you transfer the
Hmm.
points become worth much more when you're directly spending them versus spending it from the credit card website. Like, these are my
Interesting.
points and I could spend it on this. They
Uh-huh.
greatly reduce it. You can extend the points by a lot by taking it, transferring it, and creating a points program directly with whatever that third party vendor is, like
Uh-huh.
in the case of the airlines. And so we found that the points programs can be really worth it. You just have to take the time to look at them. And of course, the cash back, we get about 8 to 10,000 every quarter in cash back just from spending that we're doing on various different business credit cards, that where was like, we can't just take all these endless miles. So
Right.
some of it you just have to, and the cash back, that it's not dollar for dollar, it translates to less than what you would get on the airlines.
Hmm. Right.
But it's still cash back.
Well, what blew my mind, because it's one of those things, if you just put two plus two plus two plus two plus two together, right? You start to realize, like, wait a minute, not only am I getting cash back, which I know a lot of us have cards that give us cash back, but one, we're getting more leverage with the points and the cash back. But two, to your point of what you guys do, you're paying 0% interest. So essentially you're getting paid to have a credit card. Not even paying, you're getting paid to have a credit card. That seems like
Exactly.
that would make Dave Ramsey roll over in his grave if he were dead.
Yeah. 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 He wouldn't like to hear any of this. He complains regularly about people getting cash back from their credit cards. It's crazy. I guess he would want us to use loans that don't pay us anything,
Right.
like a
Right.
mortgage or a hard money loan, which are great loans. Those are good loans, but
Yeah.
it's definitely worth also adding into your arsenal the usage of business credit cards and just
Mhm.
credit cards in general. They're so easy to get approved for. Now, if I use a personal credit cards have these ratios. So I can't go above 35% on my personal credit card before it starts bringing my personal scores down. So when it comes to the card stacking process and
Mhm.
getting up to investor level amounts, 250,000 of business credit cards, you can't do that on the personal side, because as soon as
Right.
you spend the card, your scores come down and you
Yeah.
can't continue the card stacking process. So
Right.
if you do that on the business side, where the cards report to the EIN
Mhm.
and the client understands that they're not going to max out their personal cards, they're not going to bring them above 35%.
Mhm.
Now the credit score soars, it goes high, and we're able to continue the card stacking process, meaning that we can apply for new business credit cards and do the negotiation process and just continue that over and over again, because the personal scores are high, because they're
Right.
not completely just you know ringing up every personal credit card that they have. And credit cards are very separate from other loans.
Mhm.
So if you have other mortgages or other term loans or other forms of financing on your credit, those generally fall in their own categories. Like,
Yeah.
mortgages are compared against each other, auto
Mhm.
loans compared against each other. They're not going to look and say, well, we're not going to give you these credit cards because you have this mortgage.
Yeah.
The mortgage it's a self fulfilling prophecy. If there's a problem with that, they go after the asset.
Right.
And so with credit card lenders, they're looking to see what exposure do you have with other credit card lenders.
Mm.
And interestingly enough, the more exposure you have with other credit card lenders, the more likely they are to lend to you. So if you
Yeah.
happen to have nice credit limits with other lenders, they're like, oh, this guy's going to be a great bet.
Yeah.
And of course, it's credit based. They're looking at your credit, and your credit would obviously match having that with those other institutions. But that's something that we find. That's why we help our clients get some of the most premium cards you can possibly get. And then from there, it just gets easier to get all the smaller brands and build up that amount of funding so that they can invest right away.
I gotcha. That's awesome. Obviously, I already know there's people thinking like, okay, how do I know what's possible for me? I mean, is there a way they can talk to you guys to find out what they could actually do in their situation?
Yes, yes. Actually, we have a link set up that will allow everyone to pre-qualify themselves without putting a single inquiry on your credit report.
Oh,
So
nice.
it will do a soft pre-qualification. So a soft pull is where, excuse me, a soft pull is where we are not putting a ding on the credit report. There's no inquiry
Right.
left. So at fundandgrow.com/money ripples PQ. The PQ is for pre-qualified. So again, it's
Hmm.
fundandgrow.com spelled out with a /, and we'll have this on the screen. Money ripples PQ. And that will bring up the pre-qualification form. And there's just like your name, your address, phone number. And then it does a pre-qualification. And right away, it's going to tell folks how much funding they can get access to. And also, there's a phone number on there that they can call us directly, as well as a calendar tool that they can use to book one of our business development managers who will give them a free business credit consultation, go over the credit report with them, and point them in whatever. If they happen to not qualify, we'll point you in the direction to be able to qualify in the future.
Awesome. Love it. Well, yeah, we'll definitely put that in the show notes in case somebody's driving. We don't want them getting in a car accident and then they can't get it done anyways, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
really appreciate that. That's fascinating. I'm going to try it myself actually, just to see what's possible for my situation. Even though I've done this kind of stuff before, I'd love to see what more is possible. So guys, definitely be sure to check that out. Last question for you, Ari. I mean, this is the Money Ripples podcast. We talk about creating a ripple effect in people's lives. Ari, what do you feel is your ripple effect you're here to create on this planet?
So my ripple effect, and I think of that like back to when America was first founded. When you think of like the average man out there, they
Mhm.
were really representing directly to the market whatever it was that they did. If they were a farmer, if they were a craftsman, if they were a hunter or a trader, all of that was them directly representing themselves to the market. If you will, they were all small businesses.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple hundred years, and everybody works for a big business. Not you and me, but so many people, and you are pulling people out of that. You're clawing them out of that corporate lifestyle into one of awakening and of realizing that they are in charge of their own destiny if they decide to be. And
Yeah.
so when I see where America supposedly was from, reading and school and everything compared to where we are today, it's the mission of Fund&Grow is to liberate people to be able to invest in their own businesses, to be able to get money, cheap money, to be able to invest into you. You don't have to go on
Right.
Shark Tank and give away 80% of your business for $20,000.
Yeah.
And I'm being a little facetious and
Uh-huh.
over exaggerating, but the point of the matter is people are literally giving up like 25%, 50% of their businesses for $50,000 or $100,000 when they could
Yeah.
easily get that with business credit cards. And then when you understand the credit card stacking process, you can use this as ongoing funding for many projects from now on. It will never be a problem to get access to funding when you realize how easy it is to get access to business credit cards. So our mission, Fund&Grow's mission, my personal mission is to help liberate people to get out of the 9 to 5, to get out of working for someone else, and to be able to work for yourself. And
Yeah.
that includes your money. That includes you not having to be spending ridiculous amounts of money on hard money and all these other
Mhm.
interest-based loans. Keep it simple, simple interest, 0%. Use the introductory periods of the business credit cards, stack them, use what we get. We get access to other people's money. which is the banks. Like there's countries in the world where you don't, you know what I mean? Like you don't get
Mhm.
access to be able to leverage other money from institutional money. We should be so thankful and grateful. So I think we can take these tools, we can take this and ignite it in our spirit and help so many people all across America be able to get out of working for someone, work for themselves, and be in charge of their own destiny. And that helps not only them personally, that helps their family, that helps their community, and that's the ripple.
That's right. That's what Thomas Jefferson referred to as the pursuit of happiness, right? Be able to have
Yes.
that private ownership and that control. And you're right, man. That's a fantastic mission. I love that. All right. Well, man, I appreciate your time today. Everybody else, be sure to go check out Fund and Grow forward slash or fundandgrow.com/money ripples PQ. Be sure to go check that out, especially if you want to see what's possible in your situation right now. And again, you guys can listen to these things all day long, but until you take action, your life will remain the same. So why not try? Go and make it a wonderful and prosperous week. We'll see you later.